Right, troops. Hello everybody and welcome to the Celtic Unrestricted Review podcast. My name is Ryan Clifford and it's a Glasgow Derby build-up Saturday Night Fever podcast with myself, Ryan, JP and Jason. Well lads, well no, it's a massive game tomorrow, recording the Saturday night. Very anticipated as well. Obviously after the defeat with the semi-final, it's going to be a lot of talk about Celtic, need to win, etc. To obviously keep the pressure on Rangers into the last 3 games. But JP, it's a massive game, mate. And how's your week been, mate?
Hi, good evening, lads. How are we? Yeah, it's been a pretty, well, just a typical week, mate, to be honest with you. It's been pretty long again, waiting on Celtic again, because we played on Sunday. It's been a game that, well, it's just another game, really, to me. Personally, I know people make a big deal of it, blah, 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 but it's at the nitty-gritty part of the season now, so every game's a big game now for Celtic, I would imagine now. You could probably look at it, we've got another 4 cup finals starting for tomorrow. So, obviously, you want to go and lay down a marker again. I think you've got a point to prove maybe after the semi-final, because we were apparently they were world beaters again and we were wrote off, and it was quite funny after the semi-final actually, because you'd think the way they raved about it, you'd think they beat Real Madrid in the semi-final of the Champions League, the way they were going on and on and on about it. But it just shows you obviously where we are now as a team, and I mean they're jumping about celebrating like they, as I say, they got to the final of the Champions League, and realistically they never beat us in 90 minutes, so they took them 120 minutes to beat us, and we weren't anywhere near the level we can play at, and that's probably, I would say, they flung the kitchen sink and everything at us, and that's the best they've got in my opinion. So as I say, home advantage tomorrow, mate, so look forward to it. Again, up by Cauldron and Noise, I think I mentioned this the other night when we were on. So it's going to be a good, I think, mate.
I definitely feel we won't play, well, I'd like to think we won't play as bad as that, as you say, is basically a full crowd. They'll have a wee tiny corner. Doesn't really make much of a difference, because you might hear some noise, but and if it's going to be the way it's going to be, in the way we all imagine it to be, you'll not hear them. They'll just be basically...
Well, let's face it, they've been making noise all season, right? So whether with the right noise or the wrong noise, they're full of hot air off them. So they just decide to hit away with stuff, and as I say, some of it's total nonsense. Half are lies you tell them the truth, and the other half are hard to believe. That's the way I look at it, do you know what I mean? So,
but like you say, mate, obviously it's the semi. I know what Anne says, we've not got a point to prove, but for me as a fan, you've got a point to prove really to the fans that we're still, because let's be fair, it is only 6 points now. I've said it in previous podcasts. If the unthinkable happens and you do get beaten Sunday, the pressure's kind of on you to not drop anything. But now you're sitting 6 points. For me, if you stay unbeaten tomorrow, Jason, obviously you've got 3 games left. The chance of you losing 3 games is not really going to happen. I like to think so, unless, like we've said before, it's a total mishap, a concentration, just a disaster. I can't see it happening personally. I can't see it with a squad and the manager. So for me, Jason, I think if you do stay unbeaten on Sunday by a draw, obviously no losing the game, I do feel that it's basically title win. Obviously not mathematically, but in a sense of the title win, mate, I think it is just about done. And obviously, how's your week as well, mate? Have you been okay?
All right, lads. Just a normal working week. Pretty much in the same as JP, just bored of sitting about waiting for this. We played last Sunday, but I echo what you're saying with tomorrow. You know, I like the position we're in, where what we're saying is if we do get beat, we can afford to get beat, right? But I don't think, for the life of me, I can't see us not winning this. I think we had our mishap in that Scottish Cup semi-final. I think that was for some reason our big hitters just didn't turn up. I thought we missed we spoke about it with the physicality, and I think Ange will have done enough. He'll have worked out enough for that last semi-final how to beat them. Do you know what I mean? Whereas I think they'll set up the exact same way. Is it they all will set up where they set up on Thursday, and they'll just try and soak it up and get catching on their counter attack, which they've tried that before, and look what happened. But it's different again. You know, we're undefeated at home domestically, and I think that's massive. As JP said, it's going to be a cauldron. I just can't see us losing this. I just think that he's going to draw into them too much. Do you know what I mean? And he's going to be mentioned to them that semi-final. That for me, that's my feel to go and be like that. Well, no, that was just a glitch. We were just after that day. And I think we'll go out and we'll do the business in order. I also think they've already played their cards with what they're taking, with what they're prioritising. So to me, they already know that league's away for them. I think personally.
Well, I think in the media, Gio says there could be changes for them on Sunday. We don't know what the changes are, but for me, they've no got anybody that can really make them better, in my opinion, on the bench. We've got guys who aren't even fully fit on the bench. It's like even Jackie Marcus. Obviously, you're talking about JP that they've beat us obviously in the semi-final and they beat us at the start of the season. But they 2 games, the first game at Ibrox, we were in disarray still, and we should have won the game. I think Beaton got sent off, didn't he? Yes. Was that right? Aye. So Beaton got sent off, and up to then, I don't want to say cruising, but you were doing very well. Edward was there, Mr. Sitter, Christie missed a chance, Kyogo missed a chance. And Ange even says if Kyogo was in the middle, we'd have won the game. Yep. And even with 10 men, we were still okay. We just needed that clinical edge. And then when it comes to the game, obviously, the semi-final, you're missing guys like Kyogo, Jack. You've guys who are only fit. Mm-hmm. No, I think if Beaton's fit, if he's fit, take away Juranovic, you'll basically get a full fit squad for the first time, I think, in a long time. Guys, when no niggles, just fully fit, apart from Juranovic, and he steps out, you've got Ralston to step in now, so it's a tiny bit of a miss, but you're not getting pound for pound the same, but you're still getting a similar type of player to come in, and he's quick, he's agile, he can defend okay now, as we've seen, so you're no down in that way. So for me, JP, we're in a far better shape even to when we were a few weeks ago in the semi, because we've had a week's rest, basically. Again, I know we had a week's rest the last time, but I think we're in a far better place because I think fatigue-wise, we've seen in the semi, there was a few guys pulling up the cramp, they looked jaded. Maybe they worked too hard that week training because of the week off, I don't know. Mm-hmm. But I think Ange said he gave them a few days off this week and they'll look back another day, so they should be refreshed. Jota's come off a good performance. You've got Jackie Marcus, for me, back fit. I think he's vital to kind of maybe going forward with what we do, especially against Rangers. Obviously, we'll talk about what he might do. By the sense, he might even play 2 for what I'm getting. He might even play 2 of them. He might, I don't know who's going to that out wide, but to play Kyogo and Jackie Marcus, but what a headache it has to have, JP. What a headache. Normally, last year we had fucking Ayeti, who I still think eventually, Ayeti could do a job, but he obviously Ange pinned him. Edward wasn't firing all cylinders, but you didn't really have anybody to come in, part of Edward. But now you've got Maeda, Jackie Marcus, and you've got 2, for me, you've got 2 quality strikers in Kyogo and Jackie Marcus. For me, JP, you've got 2 quality guys who, for me, are, I'd probably say they're the 2 best forwards in Scotland. People talk about Morelos, and Jackie Marcus is ahead of him, in my opinion. He might have not scored as many goals this year, but he's not been fit. But you can see the guys get a top drawer attributes about him, and I think, obviously, if you even want to talk about him, who play tomorrow, mate, it's going to be... It's a good headache to have who you play.
Aye, and who would have thought a headache would have been a good thing, mate, No, I know what you mean. This is probably the first time that he's had them fit, 100% fit and ready to go. I mean, bearing in mind that a part of this season we didn't even have Kyogo or Jackie Marcus. So we had to rely on Maeda to play through the middle at the time. But as I say, we've got a pretty fully fit roster. If you look at Barn Juranovic, you're right. So, and he did say Beaton's ready to come back in as well to the squad. So, because he trained yesterday and he said he would train today when he would be ready. He's not missed that much, so it's not as if he'll be miles away or anything. It's all good, mate. I just think the players, I've listened to a couple of the players' interviews, both with Celtic TV and then obviously with the media themselves yesterday with Alston and that, and McGregor, Celtic TV, and I think they know, they felt like they let the fans down in the semi-final. And that's another chance tomorrow to put that right. And obviously, I think it's another opportunity to stick a couple of the critics in their place as well tomorrow. And actually hammer home who is the top doggies in this country. And they've got a great chance to do that tomorrow. So you get into Celtic Park. Now, looking at their sort of roster, Balling got himself sent off last week, so he's going to be it. So they're not going to have him. They're not going to have Philander. They're not going to have Morelos. They're not going to have Ramsey. They're not going to have Roof. So I'm not really going to have very much in it, to be fair. Out with their midfield's probably the strongest position in the park. If you look at it in terms of they've got Davies, Kamara, Jack, Lundstrom are all options that could play in there. Although they've got this new novelty thing that they seem to think that Lundstrom's turning into Van Dijk, and they've decided to set him at centre back in semi-finals in European competition. I do not understand. He's not even a good midfielder, so I don't understand why they think he's a good centre back. So all he is just a kick artist. That's all he wants to do. In a semi-final, he kicked Everton by the ball. Everton that moved. I actually think he'd a kick at the referee as well if I look back. I'm sure he nearly tripped Bobby Madden up. So, but there was one incident where you talked about a foul on the ref, and it was with Arfield. Oh, there another one as well. I forgot about him. Because it's genuinely easy to forget about him, I suppose, you know what I mean? But he ran right into Bobby Madden and nothing was said about it. Now, he knew he wasn't getting the ball. And he runs right into the back of Bobby Madden and shoves him out the road. Two-handed push like that. And nothing was said about it. As I say, but I really don't see where their biggest threat is tomorrow. If they play right through the middle, then he's going to be great for his mammy, because big Carter Vickers is going to end up swallowing him. If they play Sakala through the middle, as I say, he runs to the side when he gets the ball. So if you ever watch him play football, he doesn't run forward with the ball. He runs sideways. So you're like, where are you? The goals are that way. See if you were on the park next time, you'd be going, the goals are there. What are you doing? Where are you going? That's all right, mate. There's a guy here that wants a selfie with. I'll be back in 2 minutes. One of the ones, you know what I mean? Come here. The goals are that way. So he's dead frustrating. So I doubt they're going to get much joy with that tomorrow. And they've got that top class talisman, target man that they use for 5 minutes on Thursday night in Aribo. So as I say, they think, I don't know, they seem to think that these guys are equipped enough to come in and deal with a team like Celtic, and that's up to them, I suppose. But I know Celtic will take care of business tomorrow. I've got every confidence in it, Ryan, and I think they'll just be far too strong on the pitch. I really do. Position, they're just going to be far too strong for them.
I think if any Celtic fan, obviously there'll be a few fans that didn't watch the game. I watched the game because I wanted to see them get beat, and I watched the game, and
you did get beat, so
they did get beat, and I thought Leipzig for me could have took up a few notches. Did a few of important players missing. They don't actually do well at home in Europe. They're actually a better travelling team. They don't really lose many away from home. And I thought Rangers, to their credit, as many Celtic fans won't really want me to say, I kind of want us to pull it in sometimes, just defend and try and get a result. We just want to go gung-ho and fuck, but that's a manager style and it's never going to change. But if
I'll commend them for Ryan, as he done it to Celtic Park in February as well. Sorry to interrupt you there, mate.
I don't know what
they are getting really good at playing football in their own half.
Aye, that's true, aye.
They are getting really good at playing football in their own half. Once it gets to the halfway line, you lose sort of any recognition as to what's next. It's like a rain when it starts to do a jigsaw puzzle and then just can't quite fit the rest of the puzzle together. And they just stop and go, like, what's next? Still a telly or not? You know what I mean? So that's what that reminds me of. They just get to a certain point and then they just run out of ideas.
That's what I was going to say to you. So if any Celtic fan, like anybody who watched the game, doesn't matter if you're a Celtic fan, but obviously without Morelos, they've no got a focal point, which is a big advantage for us, a big advantage for any team that plays them. Even the commentary were saying Ryan Kent can't play with his back to goal. And you can Sakala and you can Aribo done all right for 5 minutes, right, when he played there. But I was watching it with my dad and I say, see if that's like against Vickers as I felt, that's just meeting best for him. That's just easy pickings for them because a wee nudge and that's it. They're playing back to goal. The ball's up there. The ball's not going to stick. For me, I've always said, as much as I don't rate him that much, the only threat for me that they've got is Ryan Kent's pace down the line. He is tricky and he can sometimes take knickers off defenders if they're no own song. He's done it as a few times in the past, right? I don't rate him, but for me, he's the only threat and it's his pace and his trickery. He can nip in and hit digs and he can nip in and do crosses, etc. and make play. So I generally believe if you stop him doing anything, I generally believe you stop Rangers. I've always says, I don't know what you think, Jason, but for me, we all know roughly how they're going to set up. They always play 4-3-3. If they go a 4-5-1, they'll still have the two guys going up and down. If you stop the crosses, for me, Jason, you stop Rangers. If they're the other way of playing, Rangers fans might say different because I don't see them every week. But when I
actually heard they're looking for a presser tomorrow, and I think that much tonight that they've put Jimmy Bell in the team tomorrow to press because he's brilliant with that iron, apparently.
But for me, Jason, I believe I've always said that every single game against Rangers, if you stop the wide men, you stop Rangers because if they try and play, for me, they've no got the players that we've got to play the ball through. I believe, Jason, for not just my Celtic tinted specs on, just for watching football. If you look at our games this year, you look at their games, the speed that we play football at and the speed that they play football at, it's night and day. We pass the ball 1, 2, 3 touches, sing it in wide, get it in, boom. It's a long ball or it's just to Tavernier and get the ball whipped in. For me, that's all they've got. And for me, Jason, if you stop the wide men, some fans, if they're listening tonight or they're listening the morning before the match, might say, oh, Ryan Kent's push. I don't rate Ryan Kent, but he's still a threat to his pace is a threat. If you get pace, you're a threat to anybody. Me personally, I might know one of the best of players, but I had fucking blistering pace, and nobody likes pace. Doesn't matter how good you are. They don't like pace, especially defenders turning their back. So for me, Jason, if you generally stop the pace for Ryan Kent, I think they're fucked because, like JP says, they've not got a focal point, they've not got a striker, and you're not going to see Lundstrom or Davis or fucking Kamara or Jack making lung-busting runs. I know JP says about Arfield, right? I don't rate Arfield either, but he always does well against us. He always scores a goal or he does something. So for me, I don't want him starting because he's everything for Rangers in these games. But for me, Jason, the only threat I can really see is Ryan Kent's pace. You take him out of the game and you stop them getting balls in the box. I generally believe it's just easy pickings because for me, that's all I've got.
No, I agree. I think if you look at every team that's took points off Rangers or beat Rangers this season, it's because they've took it Barisic and Tavernier. That's their game plan. And as much as I don't like to admit it, right, but Tavernier has got he's got a good delivery on him, but we can't take that away for the guy. It's the same. I think I agree with you on Kent though as well. That I don't think he's a good footballer. He's just really, really quick. But what they're going to set up the model. They're going to have the false nine. It's going to be. I think he will play Scott Wright and what he did on Thursday and try and play that false nine. And
he was hopeless. He was fucking hopeless, by the way.
But it's the thing I know with
I
Shikara.
played with a false 11 fucking Thursday night, false 9.
I think the thing with Shikara I know is that he's too hot and cold as well, because like you can watch him one week and he might be good, and the next week he's a passenger. But no, I think that if you take out their wide men, then they're ineffective. Scott Arfield, I'm the same. I don't think he's got any footballing ability whatsoever. But when he seems to play against us. I don't know if that's just because he's a Rangers man, obviously. Do you know what I mean? But no, I think that take out their wide men, and that's it. They've got an alright midfield, but I think if we're up to it and we're on it, that we match them in the midfield. We've done it before. We've done it the last.
They can't play through the lines either because they're too flat. They're too rigid in the middle of the park. So they rely on 2 to 3, sometimes 2, sometimes 3. They're the only team I know to play with 3 blockers in the middle of the park when they don't need to. There's no getting anybody to roam forward.
And I'll tell you the new, by the way, JP, Lundstrom isn't starting tomorrow.
I wouldn't say so. No, I wouldn't think so.
I think it will be Davis, Arfield and Kamara. I don't think Aribo's starting tomorrow either, by the way.
See on Steve Davis for me, Jason.
I
do believe Steve Davis is probably their best player in midfield. I think Steve Davis is a cracking player. I know he's getting older in age, but I think he's a very good player.
Well, to be fair, mate, I think they're going to need to phone Ronnie O'Sullivan tomorrow, because after that they're going to need fucking Snickers, man, I'll tell you.
Aye. As I say, you know me, as much as I'm a Celtic fan, I try and be balanced and look at every aspect. I do think Steve Davis is I do believe Steve Davis. I think Steve Davis is a cracking player, mate. He's a good career for Rangers.
Nice.
Ireland. He is on Ireland, sorry.
He's very good football and brain, mate.
And these are the games where
he's a player.
He's the games where, for some reason, Gio's not really played him much, right? And to be fair, Gerrard didn't either at the start of this year. I think he's a good player. He's getting older, but he's
too slow now. You watch him when he played recently. I just think he's not got that turn anymore the way he used to.
But like Jason says, mate, obviously we've all played football yourself, guys. You might be slow, but if you've still got a brain, you can still play football. Do you know what I mean? Similar to maybe I would say with us with Scott Brown. He looked finished, maybe fitness-wise, but he still had it up there. He can still, especially with Aberdeen this year with Scott Brown, for me,
he was a best player.
How Aberdeen gave him stick, man. I watched him against Rangers at Ibrox, and it was like he was playing with Celtic. It was super.
He was our best player. And then he's come in and got rid of him, and I was like, you've not to replace him. Why are you doing that outside the window?
But I agree with you, Jason, as well, about the false 9. But you know that's going to be an excuse if they do get beat or they don't match, because we had to play with a bad up front a few games. We had to play with Jota up front a few games when Kyogo was injured. Jackie Marcus, Ayeti was no in the squad. Maeda wasn't here yet. We had to play with a false 9. And apart from the St Mirren game, we just about done all right. We still won games. We went to Ross County, won with a bad up front, I'm sure. And we scored. We've coped with that. We see anything that any team could go through this year. We've went through it, and we're sitting 6 points clear. And the rebuild's just about finished. But it sounds like with Ange, he knows what he's going to do, right? So they've the excuses. Rangers, they're saying that they've got the champion squad. They've got this. So for me, JP, it's going to be. I think it's going to be. I'm actually looking forward to it as a spectacle. I think it's going to be a very good game, because the two teams basically need to win. It's a game that you want to win. For me, I always say any Celtic Rangers game, I always say I'd take a draw. I don't want to get beat. No matter the situation, I'd take a draw. I just don't want to get beat. But I think it's going to be two teams at it. I do believe that. I think the game against them at Celtic Park, I kind of called it how they were playing. It turned out. I think they'll do the same. I don't think they'll come out and play. I think they'll similar tactics at Leipzig. They'll try and get us in the break with Sakala's pace or Kent's pace, because I think that's all they've got. And like Jason says, if you do, people obviously, Barisic was on his knees doing squats in the last game at Celtic Park, but I do think Barisic, I've already said that he's been turned. I think he sees no way Rangers. I do believe he's a good left back. Let's be fair, you don't play with Croatia at left back, you're just right. Semi Ranovic, she's playing with Croatia right back. So, but I believe, JP, that's the way they're going to play. people might say I might get it wrong. In the game, I might say I was wrong, but I believe they're going to try and sit in. We'll weather maybe the storm for us for 5-10 minutes to see how we're going to set up. Maybe a bit of tactical kind of mind games at the start of the game, but I do believe that if we come out the same type of form as a game at Celtic Park 3-0, I've always said to you, mate, if we turn up with our A game and they turn up with their game, there is only one winner. The stats tell you that. There's only one winner. We've got the better quality, we've got a better manager, we've got better everything. And like you say, this is a game for me now where it's time to shove it up the critics again. Say this is like fucking Rogic says in that interview against United. Mate, we've been tapped for the last decade. So I think now it's against another game to show that.
Aye. No, you're right, mate. I also think that we're going to come out the traps flying tomorrow. I think we're going to come out and get after them straight away. And I think we'll probably no doubt show an intensity tomorrow that wasn't there in the semi. We looked as if we were no energetic enough. We just never get anything going, to be honest. For quality, all they did is all. I still say to this day that if Big Vix puts that in, it doesn't hit the bar, it's 2-0, the game's a bogey after that. They're never coming back for that. Never. They would have been totally deflated if that had been in at that moment in the game. So they don't have that second wind down to go up and start attacking us and try to get back into the game. But no, I dare tomorrow. We're at Parkhead and we're going to, I would imagine we're going to get after them. And a day, well, I kind of don't want them to sit in because if this, well, a day and I don't. If the day sit in, they're going to get littered the way they did the last time. But if they try and open up against us to try and have a go with a false nine, they're going to get absolutely littered and all. So, in my opinion, we'll just start picking holes on about them. And this is what they're going to have to do on Thursday coming as well. So, I tend to agree with Jason slightly because I think their eggs are into one basket and they're kind of, I potentially gave up the ghost in terms of the league. Because I think they're looking at the league going, Celtic haven't lost since the end of September. We ended up lost effectively 3 games out of the next 4. It's just not going to happen. No with 3 games starting from tomorrow at Celtic Park. It's not happening. Hearts and with all due respect, Hearts and that only come to Parkhead to turn us there unless we're really bad, and that just isn't going to happen. And
plus they've still got to go to Tynecastle as well.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They go to Tynecastle in the last year of the season and then they play Hearts in the cup final a week later. And both of the games are in the gimmies. So, no, as I say, I think we're in good shape going into tomorrow. Probably slightly better than what we were going into the semi, to be fair and all, because we were all talking and we were all expecting them to be flying and this, that and the next thing. But if you look at it over the piece, we had guys that were ring rusty. You know what I mean, in the team. Guys in the squad that were ring rusty, who had to come on because of injuries, probably when I got on if the injuries never occurred. In certain moments of the game, Kyogo wasn't 100%. He's probably near that now, I would imagine, because he's had a couple of weeks extra training under his belt. Mm-hmm. He played and he looked so fresh last Sunday at Ross County. Scored a very good goal. That would have done his confidence the world a good, mate. So, in terms of us moving forward, I think we're in a good place. And mentally, I think we're in a very good place as well. We're on the cusp of being champions again for the 10th time out of the last 11 years. Let's put things into perspective a bit, lads. That is phenomenal.
Yep.
So as I say, some of these boys have not even won a trophy before or a medal. Probably maybe youth level if they have, but I don't imagine Jota and Abada and even Giacomakis and none of these guys have won trophies and medals. I don't know if Juranovic has either. So it's on you to these guys, I know, because Juranovic, fair dues, he plays with a quality international side, but the club size he's played for, didn't win leagues or cups or tournaments or whatever. So, no, I think winning, the side of winning things is new to a lot of this squad. And I think they've got a bit between their teeth now to get it out of the line. Like Big Carter Vickers and that again, like Starfelt. I don't think they've played with teams that have been that successful to go and win their own championship and the leagues have played. I might be wrong, by the way. There might be some of the listeners going, "Who's talking nonsense here?" And I hope they do, which is fine because I'm open to hear it. But offhand, I don't think a lot of these guys have won trophies and medals unless it's been at youth level. But it's not the same as winning something seniorly, and not the same, especially winning at Celtic Park in front of a full stadium, a massive fan base, and a massive club.
Also as well, Jason, the headache could be probably up front. Is it Giakoumakis, Kyogo, is it Maeda, is it Jota?
Jason's face, he's laughing because your heads are busting, mate.
As much as I think Kyogo is obviously the star man, I think the physical presence of Giakoumakis is maybe more important than maybe the ability of Kyogo. Fans might say I'm talking piss here, but I'm just going by the previous games against Rangers and Giakoumakis. Even the game at Ibrox when we won, he was superb. But the game at Celtic Park, he was superb. For me, I think he goes unnoticed, Jason. He does the donkey work. There was a game at Celtic Park against Rangers, and I'm giving like this. He was in a half chasing the ball. I thought, that's fucking brilliant. And he doesn't look at that guy, the guy that goes and does that. He just looks like a big target man. He holds the ball in, but he gives you everything. So you've got a pure headache. Do you start Kyogo and then say it is 1-0, 2-0? Do you bring Giakoumakis on to hold the ball up and give you a break? You've got just a bunch of quality with today.
I think you need to start Big Giakoumakis just for the physical presence because it just causes mayhem. Talking about that game at Ibrox, something happened between him and Ryan Jack, and about 5 minutes later, Ryan Jack was at the park because he said something, and Ryan Jack was like, "I'm out. I've had enough." But I don't know. We've been talking about it.
I'm a celebrity. Get me out of here.
It was at boom. Get me out.
Get him out, Sean.
Get him out, Sean.
But I don't know. Giakoumakis, I've been saying it all week, so I'm going to go with the big man just for the physicality because big Shirley Bassey can't handle him. Do you know what I mean? And it gives him space. It gives O'Reilly, which I think I would start O'Reilly over Roderick, by the way, as well.
Okay.
It gives O'Reilly the chance to run a walk in the middle of the park because never couldn't do that at Hampden because we didn't have that physicality in the side. So Bassey could run about and go and do what he was doing. And I don't think we would do that with Giakoumakis because if you watch Giakoumakis, he floats in between the two centre halves, and I love that, by the way. His big goals like that. Don't know, man. He's too busy thinking about his hair and all that. You know what I mean? And then it's there we go. And he's just. And I said the same at Celtic Park. I know with the 3-0 game, it was just unbelievable. And I don't think he gets enough credit. He's a bit of an unsung hero, I think, just because he does just cause it. He's chaos. And go back to what JP was saying about people having maybe not won a lot. Giakoumakis was relegated with his team last year, so there you go. He's been for a team that's getting relegated to a team that's potentially on the risk of winning.
Synonymous with winning.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that it turned when we won the League Cup. They were like that. We want more of this. And I've seen a stat as well that the team that wins the League Cup always goes on to win the league. So that's what I think.
Big man, I know you're dying to show us. Turn that camera in and show us that tactical board that you've worked that team out there.
But it's true. Big
man's sitting going like that, right? I've put O'Reilly there and I've done that with that. He's got it all worked out before we started.
No, but
see, I thought O'Reilly should have started at Hampden because he scored 2 against St Johnstone. So I was quite shocked he didn't.
I'd actually said that to Ryan previous to that, mate. I thought he would have been a bit disheartened with no starting after having a brace against St Johnstone. So I agree with that.
For me, I just wish O'Reilly and Rogic could play in the same team, but they can't. You can see the game against Bodo, especially. You've seen that they couldn't. It's just they're kind of similar players. They want to do the same job, but I think O'Reilly's going to go for mega money. The guy's an absolute baller. This is him just getting into used to the fitness playing at this level and etc. He's brilliant for me. I think he's going to take Rogic's place. I think Rogic for me is still a key man for us, but he might only have maybe, obviously he's got a contract next summer. He might have 2 years necessarily. He might get an extra deal. I don't know, but O'Reilly's for me is going to step in. Does he give Hatate a break? Because he has played a lot of football recently and you've seen obviously the game, but he did play better last week with Ross County. But I think sometimes as the games go on, JP, I see Hatate getting the ball away a lot. And especially last week, it was maybe the only time we weren't nervy, right? As the fucking BBC said they were. The only time I was nervy in a tiny sense was when he was getting the ball away. I'm like, he's going to give this away and it's going to fucking haunt us. That's the only time I didn't like about the game against Ross County. So he's got a headache, but I'm like Jason JP. I think O'Reilly's going to start. If it means Rogic is going to miss out or he fits the two of them in somehow, I think he's going to play because I think he's a totally different threat and he's physical. He's a big boy.
Ryan, see as well, right? See if you watch O'Reilly with corners, what a delivery that boy puts in, by the way. What a corner. We've been missing that for years, I think. Somebody that can just float a ball right in. Sorry to interrupt. But
no, you're right, mate. You're right. Because let's be fair, for 3 or 4 years, man, JP, our corners have been hitting the first man, and it fucking infuriates me. How a professional football player that gets paid 10, 20 grand a week cannot hit over a first man a corner. It's embarrassing. And like Jason says, JP, his delivery is really good. It is for me. It's top draw.
We look at Slaney here to come into the 18-yard box and hit corners. So it's not an uncommon thing, mate. Oh, sorry, mate. I'm just trying to go over the overwhelming emotion of you saying that Rogic is nearly out the door and O'Reilly's going to take his place and stuff like that.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I think.
Sounds to me that you've already got your flight ticket booked and all that there, mate.
I still believe Rogic he's one of the best players in Scotland, but I think I'm just looking.
That's why he's up for Player of the Year, I'd imagine.
I'm just looking towards the future. I think he's still going to be here for me. I think he'll get a new deal. But I think he might not play as much because O'Reilly will come in and out. I think he'll be a bit of rotation.
He'll need to show his ability and his quality, I would imagine, to fit in.
I was a bit of Tony Adams there.
As we wee bit of Saturday night, mate. Saturday night. Wee bit of Saturday night fever.
There's a bit of Rogic that wants the game, but I think there's a part of him that's wanting to maybe go up.
I think there's severe talk about it, and it's been happening for a wee while now, a couple of months. The first time I really took notice to it, a couple of months ago, should I say? And obviously there's been whispers about him kind of being homesick and fair out. Listen, he doesn't owe us anything or anything like that. He's gave us a good service and he's gave us plenty of good times as well along the road. So if he decides he's moving on, he's moving on. And we move on, as I say. That's the nature of football. Plenty of stars have been here in the past and plenty have moved on and plenty have came and took their place, and that's what happens at big clubs like Celtic, guys. It's been synonymous with it through the years.
Sorry, cut, JP. I don't know if you see an interview during the week. Did you see it now?
Rogic's?
Aye.
Do you know what is happening? He was at the PFA.
Aye. He basically says that he was happy here. You know, I'm playing in an environment where I love. I know the manager. I love this club. I didn't think I'd be here for so long.
Aye.
So in that interview, based on that, for me, the guy's gone nowhere.
Yeah.
But like he says, he's all know me now, guys. I'm a big believer until something happens now. I do not believe it. Either for the media report it, I just do not believe anything they say until he's either leaving out the door or he's signing with a fucking scarf holding it up. It's the only time I believe, mate. But I'm like you, mate. As much as I'm saying O'Reilly should play, but Rogic is a big player in these games. We've seen it at Ibrox.
Yeah.
So he's got a headache. For me, the headache is who he plays up front and who he plays in midfield. McGregor's obviously the standout. Does he play Hatate and Rogic, or does he play O'Reilly and Hatate, or does he throw a curveball in and play Beaton? I know this might sound daft as well, Jason, but McCarthy gives you dig.
push McGregor higher.
And let McCarthy play defensively. People might think I'm full of shite because he's not played all season. But McCarthy still got quality. He should be fresh, and he could come in and throw a curveball. I don't think he'll do it.
Don't forget, we've got Gucci sitting there and all. He's not really showed his worth.
I'm just trying to think of all the
options. And you've got Turnbull's there and all.
In regards to McCarthy, right? I don't actually think he gets a lot of stick for it, and it's not really warranted. I don't think, to be honest.
Done nothing bad, mate. In my opinion,
nothing wrong.
I think that every time he's come on, he's done a job. And we were talking about at Hampden when we needed somebody to come and be like that. For me, that's your man that will come on and do that. He'll come on and just be like, bang, wallop. There you go.
Can you remember back to the derby in February, Jason? He came on and smashed Ryan Jack 2 seconds on the park.
Exactly.
As soon as he was on the park, he just leathered him right away. Won the ball, obviously, but he took him along with the ball. And I reckon in the semi-final, big man, that was missing, especially with the way Lundstrom was just flying into challenges.
Well, he was getting away with everything, but so you're going to keep going into you before
I just think he was actually trying to noise Jimmy Bell up and try and get as many grass stains on his shots. They found out he passed the Daz doorstep challenge a fortnight ago, and they're like, right, test this.
But I wouldn't have a problem if Beaton started tomorrow. No, I wouldn't.
See, to be fair, I've said this before as well to Ryan and that, and like, I think regardless of what T-Man's picks, I would be comfortable with, because whatever he picks, he firmly believes in. And who are we to doubt, Ange? Who are we to think? I mean, go back all through the season, even the games that we lost, has he really got it wrong?
No.
I wouldn't say so. I would just say the team's no performed on the day.
For me, the only game...
Selection-wise, he's just no got it wrong.
See when we get Tynecastle, right at the start of the season, look who was in Dane Murray and all that on the bench. Boys that are playing in the B team. That's why we were losing the games.
Who was it? Beaton and Starfelt at the back, wasn't it?
That was Starfelt's first game, wasn't it?
That was his debut. Then Kyogo came on and made his debut. It was only 25 minutes off a flight.
He was only signed that morning, wasn't he?
Aye. No, he only just came out of quarantine that morning and then made his way to the team. I don't even think he had a session with the team yet.
That was how we lost. And people keep bumping on about, but you have lost, blah, blah, blah. We have not been beat since September. We have not been beaten since September. That is phenomenal. But again, we don't get enough credit for it. It's like we could win 11 trophies in 10 years, 11 league titles. We do not get enough credit for it.
It's like Ryan just said, Jason. Last week we won 2-0. It was probably, as I said, if that was a boxing match, they'd probably called that just at half time. But we won 2-0. And the BBC next day, we're dead nervy.
Jason, honestly, right, as soon as I seen it, I couldn't believe it. I was like, did I just watch Celtic narrowly beat Ross County, or did I just see Celtic? Ross County had one shot on target, Jason. One shot on target. But yet Rangers, they came back after getting Rangers pumped Motherwell. Motherwell didn't come out and take the game to Rangers.
The less said about Motherwell, the better, by the way, because they were just they're not a top 16.
But for me,
they didn't they?
Aye.
They get beat today.
Didn't they?
Dundee United beat them today.
Aye.
For me, the only team selection of the game I think JPD's got wrong was probably the 2 legs of Bodo. I thought they completely get their wrong. The 2 games wrong. That obviously that's not domestically, so domestically he's been just a bit flawless for what the team he's had to put on the park. Bodo, for me, I think it's a big learning curve from a European football. I think he knows that. I think the squad know that, because for me, especially the second leg, the way they went out for me, I'm still kind of angry about it, and I hope they take it on and obviously win the league and you get the group stages. It's going to obviously, I'll forget about it, but it left a sour taste because I don't mind guys no performing, but it's when they don't look like they're, I'm not going to say no trying, but just no caring. That's the way it looked for me.
Yeah.
That's why I was so angry.
I think Anne just had that first year in Europe. He's maybe sort of sussed it out a wee bit and he knows maybe how to tweak it. the team's going to, when we go into Europe next year, be a bit stronger. I've played a wee bit, we'll be together a year by then. I don't know, I just think a lot of teams that have success in Europe have been playing together for 3-4 years, and I think that's a big thing.
Jason, have you saw Angie's presser yesterday?
I've not watched it all, I've watched a wee bit of it.
Near the tail end of the presser, one of the boys, he speaks with an Irish accent, and he's a member of a Celtic podcast. Obviously, he's at the fan media side of the interview. So he asked Ange about the phases. This is obviously phase 1. What do you do to integrate the next phase? Because we're still pretty early on and where you want the team to be. He says, what do you do, Ange? Have you already started with phase 2? Or do you then go away, try and get the league over the line, go away and have a holiday, and then when you come back, is that when phase 2? And Ange just felt like that. No, he says, phase 2 is well already done the line. He says, because the targets we're looking for, we want them in for the first day of pre-season.
That's the difference, mate.
So that's what I'm just about to say to you, mate. That to me sounds like whoever he's after, we're used to a summer. I think it was you yourself, Jason, on the chat yesterday or the day before, who mentioned about the summer window dwells on, and we're trying to negotiate normal circumstances. Obviously, the luxurious side of this season is if we win the league, if there's not a massive turning in the Liverpool tie, then obviously Villarreal can't win the Champions League, and therefore we would go straight into the Champions League groups as it stands effectively. So normally we're not in that situation. Normally we've had to play 16 qualifiers with about 25 legs per game. As it seems, it just seems it's never ending by the time we get a playoff round. And we're still trying to stumble through these with boys like Dane Murray. And no disrespect to Dane Murray. You look at the beginning of the season, he had to play against Midfield because his squad was at depleted. We didn't have any numbers to come in and cover. Julian was still injured at that point, and he was probably the only senior centre-back we had in the squad. So you were depending on Stephen Welsh, who for me is still not a finished article. Is he good enough to play for Celtic long term? The jury's out with me still. I don't know if it's... And that's not by the way, that's not I'm not down on the boy. I think he's a good player. I just don't know if he's cut out at that level yet. Because we've not seen the consistent side to his game, i.e. the Tony Ralston side, or the way Greg Taylor's performing now, or who knows. And I really, by God, I hope the boy develops enough under Ange and he proves me wrong. Because that's what I want to see. I love it. Young Scottish boys coming and flourishing. I love it. But the interview, as I said, Jason, it strikes me that his work is already underway, so that by the time the league finishes, Ange can go and do his holiday, and the guys he's leaving in hands of have got everything ready to go, so that when he comes in pre-season, all our new, or near enough, all our new recruits are there and waiting along with the squad to come back to then take us into our next phase, hopefully. But I thought that was excellent, mate. I thought, listening to that, I thought, that's a manager who's not going to leave us in the lurch anywhere. He's not going to leave us wondering what's happening. It looks like this current new Celtic team that they've got on the young board with Michael Nicholson and the other boys. It looks like they're being proactive instead of reactive, of what we've been used to. And it's very humbling, in my opinion, guys, because you look at the January window, the Maeda, Hiraguchi and Hatate were all signed in Hogmanay, and the transfer window hadn't even opened and they were already done. That to me was unbelievable. He missed out narrowly with Riley McGree for whatever reason it was. He never dwelled on it. Oh, it doesn't matter, we'll try again. Or he never tried to go and get a loan deal and make it work. And he went, bang, here's another player, O'Reilly. Right, bang, and he was in the door. The deal was done. The money was handed over. The deal was done. There was none of this. We'll stick 5 bids in to get it right. Do you know what I mean? What we've been used to in the past. It was just much as he. 1.5 million. There you go. Keys him. Unbelievable, guys. I don't know about yours, but that to me is all the difference as well. And it's going to be if we want to be successful.
100%, man. 100%. Aye, I just think this. I just think that it's class, man. I just think that it is. It's just pure class from him, and it's as if he's always got a plan. He's always got a plan with who he's wanting to sign. As you're saying with the whole Aaron McCree thing, he obviously that when he knocked, I think he said something that when we didn't get that Aaron McCree, and was like, well, he doesn't fit this club then.
Yeah.
Wow, man.
I think that's when he said he wouldn't try and sell the club to anybody.
Aye, but he shouldn't need to.
No, of course
he
not.
He shouldn't need to go like that. Or you know what I mean? Somebody should be like that. Oh, Celtic. It's a no-brainer.
Yeah. But then obviously through my good friend William and stuff, Ryan, you'll know yourself, mate. We have now learnt a wee bit this season of what takes place to try and get deals out of the line. We're talking to like Danny Self for Japan, and there's a lot of to and froing, and so to try and get that done, like speeded up a wee bit for us, is just phenomenal. Because it's not just about going and signing a player.
Mm-hmm.
He's got an entourage behind him that you've got to then keep happy to bring them as well. So you've then got Ami's rights, you've then got Party's sponsorship deal, which, as I say, I've just learnt this season. I thought it was phenomenal hearing it, and I went, wow, now I understand. Now I'm never going to go, that's terrible, how did we not get... Now I understand. I can get the what, the where and the why, if you get what I mean, when it comes to terms of us trying to get players. I understand what the process is now and what it takes.
I'll give you, obviously, if anybody who's listening, obviously on the YouTube or the Spotify, when it's out, I'll give William Glavin a wee plug. That's who William's JP's talking about. Williams, he was a football agent. He's now working, I can now say, he's at Twitter. He's working with Motherwell now. He's a scout analysis. He's doing recruitment, etc. William was an agent, obviously. He worked with Ryan Christie, etc. And William told us, Jason, I don't know if you've listened to the episode yourself, Jason, but he's told us a few times, a few episodes, how transfers work, how Celtic deal with clubs, how Peter Lawwell dealt with William at Celtic. Yeah. And I knew bits and bobs already, but I didn't know the full fruits of what happened behind a club, and William told us, and it does open your eyes. And I think some fans, I'd like to think if they're interested in how deals go about with Celtic or any agents and why things take so long, I'll even put it on the Twitter and Facebook, etc. It's a good listen because William knows his stuff. He's worked with so many good agencies and players, and this is why maybe now I'm more relaxed about when Celtic sign players or they don't sign players, because it's not always Celtic. It could be, as JP said, it could be the image rights, it could be the clubs, it could be the agents, it could be fucking the travel, it could be it's a lot of different things. And because he says, I think about Ryan Christie, it took Celtic to the end of the deadline to sign Christie, but they're talking to Christie for months. Sometimes these deals just take long, and it just depends on whatever it happens. But again, you can get William on Twitter. William's very, very good. Just give him a message and he'll happily explain anything. He's a
great guy, and we're obviously really blessed to have him as a friend of the podcast. It's been really nice knowing him, and as I say, his information has been very valuable for us all.
It's honestly, Jason, it's very opens your eyes to you. And a lot of fans, obviously, when we don't sign, i.e. John McGinn, why are we not getting him? Some of us know what happened to McGinn, because we've obviously been told, but people just assume, certainly pay money, certainly do this. A lot of things going with deals that we don't know about, and that's why one reason why JP as well, you try and get these former players on and agents, etc., because you want to find out these things.
Yeah. Ideally,
this podcast, what we do is we want to try and put things out for fans don't know about, i.e. stuff that William knows, because let's be fair, for me especially, I'm privileged to have him on this, because some guys don't know all this stuff. Some guys who, unless you listen to this podcast or know William, they don't know. Do you know what I mean? So, and obviously as well, Jason, we were talking about the referee. Obviously, it's always got to be a talking point in these games. Bobby Madden's obviously performance we all know about, and again, it was swept under the carpet as soon as the game was finished. Everybody spoke about it, and we all know it was fucking shocking. Excuse my French. But obviously, another brother has took over the game on Sunday, but they're beating the Rangers fan, who was obviously, we all know.
Oh no.
No, I don't care, mate. It's what to put out there.
No, I'm not saying on not to you. I'm just saying on not at the fact that we've been blessed to have this guy for refereeing Sunday.
It seems to be that it was Madden, Beaton and Column have refereed the last 4 games, I'm sure, 4 or 5 games. Why can they not spread the games out and give other guys this? So is it today because they're supposedly top referees? Because every referee in Scotland is one of the best, and like JP knows me, I try and be balanced. It's not just all down to them. It's all down to, obviously they're no full time, but we all make honest mistakes, as I say, right? But the referee in these games has to be solid, has to own the game. And some referees in these games, like the game for me at Ibrox, I think was it Celtic Park or Ibrox?
It was at Ibrox, and the referee is going to be the ref tomorrow.
Morelos,
the referee that day.
Kicked Ralston, elbowed Ralston. And
that one he stood in his back?
Yes, and it went to the panel, and the panel says, Beaton, brilliant job. Right, okay, so what chance have you got of winning football games or getting a fair fucking result, right?
A wee brown pipe poke on his back. No, that's how we
Therefore lies the problem.
But I'm trying to be honest, right? The game, football games, as much as the referees only don't always put their best performance out there, the games are won by goals and scoring goals. And as much as we get beat, obviously the referee, in my opinion, Madden was terrible. We still.
You know the referee that chopped off the goal at Tannadice, Ryan, that we spoke about just the other night? Chakimakis, Maeda puts it in and he chopped the goal.
I'm sure that was Beaton again.
That's what I'm saying. Was he the ref that chopped that off and all?
Because he didn't know the rules.
Yeah, he doesn't know the rules.
And they're calling for VAR. If that's VAR, it's a goal.
See what you're talking about refereeing, right? There was a Ross County game last week. One of their players made 2 horrendous tackles in the first 5 minutes, and that Clancy booked the guy in the second for the second tackle. Boom, game over. Right.
Yeah.
That's what you need. That's what you should be doing.
See the hang.
Jason, I actually want to say, sorry, Ryan. I'm sorry.
I
actually want to say, Jason, I actually thought Kevin Clancy had a very good game on Sunday.
He did. I
actually thought he was very good on Sunday, and he was very, very. He tried to let the game flow rather than break it up with daft silly fouls all the time, which I thought was unusual, to be honest. You don't really see that. Normally they're whistle happy. So as I say, no, it was a kind of, again, that was humbling to see, because it was nice to see that for a change, rather than a guy in a green and white jersey getting stopped at every turn.
I also thought the game at Ibrox with Willie Collum was refereed very well for that reason. They just let the game flow. They let the game flow.
Yeah.
But unless the Mora, as soon as I heard that it was beaten, I laughed, because I was like, right, I personally don't. I've got my opinions on it, and we all share the same opinion, right? But I think that he definitely shouldn't be refereeing a Celtic Rangers match, because the last time it was pictured in pubs, in a well-known Rangers pub, if I remember correctly.
Aye, no, but according to the SFA and everybody else, it's photoshopped, it's fake. It's just like Ori singing. It's just like Ori singing when they won the league. It's all fake. It's all fake.
Aye. And Ori turning up at George Square was a Fulham crew.
Aye, it was all fake.
All the extras. I actually thought it was a foley up for them getting made up to World War Z when I saw that at George Square. Really
what other country does that happen?
It doesn't, mate.
And then, by the way, I don't know if anybody noticed it, but it was put into the chat. See, after that game at Hampden, Bobby Madden posts on Instagram, Happy Easter.
I know.
That shouldn't be happening.
Aye. That's
seeing any other country in the world, that's getting questioned, and he's getting suspended until they investigate it.
That's like a football player. When they post silly stuff on social media, F's a game, they shouldn't do that. That's exactly the referee. Listen, I'm being honest, right? I didn't really see it like that, but the more you think about it, the minute here, that's a bit. I think even see, like I says, with the referee performance with Madden, see when, I know they're Celtic, ex-Celtic players, but see when Thompson, Hartson, Sutton, Petrov, see when they all came out to say it was shocking, they're not lying. They're not talking shite.
Even Peter Martin for that were coming out and saying it was shocking.
Aye. He was on a PLZ, wasn't he, with Tam McManus and Ruffy and I think it was it Alison Conroy or something that was on it there.
The only ones that said he had a no bad game was the ones on that super scoreboard. So again, there you go.
Well, Hammett's the referee tomorrow. I don't know about you, but I wouldn't let him referee a game in the pitch. I'm not kidding on. I'm just no. See if I actually turned up to play a league game on a Sunday and he was a referee, I'd walk off after that. I'm not playing you. You kidding on? He doesn't know the rules of the game.
But I'm not one to. I'm just saying it's a question of a point, because why does it seem to be the same guys refereeing these games? I thought Wally Collum had a fantastic game at Ibrox. I granted we won the game, but I thought it was actually very decent. To be fair, I had one of his better games against Celtic. Ibrox.
See, talking about referees, right? I think it's been touched on before. See when we beat them 3-0 at Parkhead, Boy See the first goal.
He was going. Yes, he was going no gear.
Choking to chop it off.
Yep.
He went to the touchline and he realised that VAR's going into December, so he couldn't chop it off. Do you know what I mean? And I think he was raging when the guy says, "We've not voted for VAR yet, mate." And he went, "Oh, you're kidding, man! I was going to chop that off here." But no, as I say, that was frightening. The fact that he even went to that when it was Big Aribo took Big Shirley right out again, and if anything, he should have booked Aribo for a challenge.
See what we're talking about refereeing, but right. And VAR, right? VAR doesn't stop the referees being shite.
No, it doesn't. It's the same. It's the same people that are operating the same system. So,
aye,
it's like getting a maniac a weapon. You just want to do it, and now they've got a weapon to be even more a maniac. Really? It's Looney Tunes, man.
It's a bad.
They're letting these guys operate this multi-million-pound system that they're going to bring in, and the candidates, they're getting decisions wrong that they shouldn't be getting wrong. Let me rephrase that. They're getting decisions wrong because of a lack of inconsistency. They're picking and choosing what's more important, that or that, and it's the same thing. I'll give you an example, right? Not even anything to do with the two Glasgow teams. Motherwell versus Hibernian.
Yep.
Big McGarvey sent off for a challenge. 2 minutes later, there's a challenge exactly like it. And it's your boy, I can't mind his name, he played for Hearts. He's now with Motherwell.
Was it no Hibs and Motherwell?
That's what I said, Hibs and Motherwell.
Aye.
Maloney signed him in the transfer window.
No, I don't think he did, but he might have done, He might have done, but he used to play for Hearts, and I think Motherwell have got him in loan. I can't mind the boy's name, but he does the same thing. And potentially, it's the same challenge, so Motherwell should have been down to 9 men.
I can remember that, aye.
And he books him, and I'm going, what is going on here? And it's what people are annoyed with, guys. It's not the incidents themselves, it's the inconsistency and the rule chopping and changing to the referee's agenda that day, or whatever it may be. Because that's the way it comes across when you're in the stands or sitting in the house watching the game, guys. And you can only comment on what you're seeing.
Yep.
For people listening in, they might go like, that's the referee, they're just dead bitter and they're fabricating any conspiracy theory they can. No, that's not the case at all. Go back and analyse exactly what we're saying. Have a look at what we're saying and you'll see what we're talking about. Mm-hmm. We're not saying anything that's not happened, or we're not fabricating anything or trying to bring scenarios to the fore that's not arisen.
Mm-hmm.
This has happened. And it is happening every single week.
It is.
He refereed a game last Friday night.
I was going to say that to you. Hopeless.
And he was absolutely horrendous. And I'm going at him myself, and then all of a sudden a week later, hey bother, you're getting the derby.
I know.
Who? I would love to know who organises to dish out the games to the referees. You look at Wally Collum. Wally Collum's the referee today with the Aberdeen game. Aberdeen Dundee, two of the teams in the bottom six, Dundee's probably looking as if they're being relegated as the way things are going. And they get Willie Collum. I couldn't tell you where any of the other wrestlers. I noticed that because I was flicking through and I saw Willie Collum at the Aberdeen game. Aberdeen were actually getting a penalty at that moment and they scored with Lewis Ferguson. So it's just phenomenal.
It shows you as well. I don't know if you can remember. You're talking about who decides the game. I'm sure there's a referee's officer, the referees, whoever, like who deal with it. Years ago, that person gets sacked because they changed the referee.
I think his name, man.
They changed the referee. I'm sure it was a year Celtic won. I think it was it David Hearts and Celtic. I'm sure. And it was a guy, what's his name? He refereed the Rangers Kilmarnock game.
Hearts should have beat Hearts for playing Dundee.
Rangers were playing Kilmarnock. I think a game before that, and I don't know if it was I think Kilmarnock scored the last kick of the ball, and they added on fucking 6 minutes. Obviously, to fucking get them to score.
That.
I was a wee guy at the time, but I can't remember. I think I was at But that guy, the referee get changed that week or something, and that's not meant to happen unless injury or the referees don't just get changed. So that's what I'm saying. That shows you back then what the fuck was going on. And that was,
I think the fourth official anymore is Nick Walsh, isn't it?
I don't know, mate.
Here's another one, right? Talking about officials. What other country do you know that there's a linesman that is in Parliament and stands and goes, red card, red card, red card?
Douglas Ross.
Right?
Dougie, red card.
He's not there anymore. I don't think he's there now, mate.
I know, but still though, JP, he should.
I know what you mean.
You know what I mean?
See when he was in, I might be totally wrong here, Jason. See when Douglas Ross was part of that, part of the SFA with the Referees Association, I don't think he was as high up in office as what he is now, mate.
But you're still
I think he was just a middle of the road sort of politician. No,
be in the SFA at all if he's a politician, mate. In my opinion.
No, I agree with that. I agree with that as well. But I don't know what sort of. To be honest with you, I don't really know. Apart from that one, he shouts to the ref about Simunovic for the elbow. To be fair, guys, I still
don't think that's a red card. Honestly, I don't. Honestly,
you can't elbow somebody in the face, mate. It doesn't matter.
If he's looking at the ball, but if he's looking at the man, it's different. He's no
he actually we watch it back, mate.
I still
see where he is. I
know it's done now, but I still at the time I still thought it was harsh. I did.
But it never helped him because Big Eddie came on and sent one right round League One ways, and
that was the day that we weren't allowed on fans in anywhere, wasn't it? That was the day that ended, was it no?
That was a full capacity in, man.
After that game,
that was the day that sort of there's the ice on the cake for them. The big cuss took a vote and decided that we weren't allowed back in anymore, and decided to cut our allocation, which seems to be happening quite a lot. I seen the other day that who is it staying it?
Hearts.
Is it? No. I don't think it's Hearts. I can't remember. There's another team in the league. They're doing it now, no. I thought, what's going on? Because they can't fill up with their own fans.
Hearts have already cut the allocation anyway.
I know. They can't fill it with their own fans, so. But then again, all the glory hunters come back out because Hearts are now they've had a successful season. They're going to be in Europe now to Christmas, guaranteed, regardless of what competition it's going to be. They do have a playoff for the Europa. If they drop out the playoff, they're guaranteed group stages of the Europa Conference. So they are guaranteed Europe to Christmas now. They get into that final. So, So
talking about the fan cut, there's Kilmarnock. By all accounts, are selling out every week in that championship. I can guarantee you for the first 3 months to be up in this Premier League, we didn't have about 4,000 a week.
But that Jace, because I think they think now they've got a top manager, and I think because to be fair with you, but in my opinion, Derek McInnes is a top. He's a Premiership manager. He's and I think Kilmarnock would have thought they would have felt very privileged, I think, and they would have thought they were punched above their weight to attract that type of manager, to be their manager. I okay, Tommy Wright, but Derek McInnes was successful with Aberdeen, albeit he never won a lot. He won a couple of trophies with them, but they were regularly third in the league. They were regularly getting to semis and finals. And you look where he had Aberdeen to look where Aberdeen are now.
Yep. No, well, that's true, mate. Aye, that's true.
So, in terms of that, then it was a massive success for him in his time there. And he was always able to rebuild a team, and that kept happening to him. He wasn't able to hold on to players. His players kept getting bought by other teams, and he was having to find gems and bring them in. So, in my opinion, Derek McInnes is a very good manager, regardless of what team he played for or, you know, where his allegiances might lie. Again, you've got to kind of see what you see, and that's it. And for me, they're very lucky to have him, and I think that's maybe helped draw the crowds, Jason. Having a manager at the helm like that. And then don't forget, mate, they've got guys like Lafferty and, you know, guys who played in the Premier League. Sort of, that's a bigger attraction for them as well. Considering where Kilmarnock were prior to that. It looks like night and day now, mate. And they've got up at the first ask as well. So, and that's not a hard thing. That's not an easy. By the way, coming up the first season is no for every team, mate, as we know. So
I've watched them the last couple of weeks, and they're actually, because we're on BBC, but they play some no bad football, by the way.
Yeah, they try and play the game the right way. And I know what you're saying. A lot of the other teams, these fans and stuff, when they get to major semis and major cup finals and stuff, they're the first to moan about wanting 50-50 splits, etc. And they can't fill their fucking stone. And then Celtic and whoever else is maybe in the final, they're getting more tickets because that other mob can't fill. Well, look at Hibs. I mean,
I was going to say, Hibs, aye.
Hibs done it in the League Cup final. That was a shambles. You were looking at off of that ground and it was empty.
Against Hearts recently, couldn't fill. That's a derby. Yeah. And they couldn't fill that. A derby fucking semi-final, you can't fill it. But
you look at Celtic Park tomorrow. You look at Celtic Park tomorrow. Celtic Park's going to be full to the gun tomorrow. And it's just another league game. Albeit, obviously, it's a big game. But we won that, but potentially the league champions in after that. But
see, even if
you're never going to get a ticket for the love in your money for that game tomorrow. But if the Edinburgh Derby, you go there and they're trying to get him away more or less because you can't fill it. It's mental, man. It's crazy.
See, even if you don't think what happens tomorrow, but the day you beat, we still only need 4 points for the next games, 3 games. So we can't afford to lose tomorrow.
Yeah, well, I don't think
we will. But it's a good position to be in where it's.
Yeah.
Do you know what
I agree. I agree with two that we're saying there, especially McInnes, Kilmarnock. We're going to be a stuffy team to beat next year, and because we all know that people who've all played football, for me, that the Astro is a leveller. If Kilmarnock go to Celtic Park, it's normally 2 or 3, 4 nothing. But you go to Midfield Park, there's normally a goal in it or 2. It's not a lot of goals, and that is because in the park, Kilmarnock play at their strengths on that park. When you go to Celtic Park, they can't play the same way. I'm agreeing with you as well, Jason, that even with Hibs as well, and it's just the way Scottish football is now. It seems to be some glory. Again, we all know some fans can't afford to get season books, and some fans can't get season books for clubs because there's waiting lists, etc. And some fans pick their games for kids because financially. But as soon as you get to a final, it happens at Celtic means as well. They get to semis, if they're not the games all season, I want a ticket. And you're like, but why not go beforehand? Do you know what I mean? I understand financial constraints can obviously impact that, but like you say, JP, tomorrow's a massive game. Jason, obviously the last bit of the pod, predictions. I'll go for my team. I'm going to go with obviously Barkas and Kinnon. obviously Joe Hart and goals. The Ralphs is obviously going to play right back. The defence picks itself. Don't need to mention defence. The midfield, I think he'll go with O'Reilly, McGregor and Hatate. I think he'll play O'Reilly. As much as I think Rogic is a massive part of this game, I think O'Reilly's, especially for his last performances, I think he's due to start. and I think he's due a big game against Rangers. So for me, I think O'Reilly will start. And I think I'm going to say that it might be a bit of surprise to some fans, but I think he's going to play Kyogo and Giakoumakis and Jota. I think he's going to make it work with Referee. I think he is. He might play Kyogo out wide, but I think he's going to play him. But just for his press conference and what I was getting, it just looked like he might have a two of them in there. I think Jota's maybe the only one that I don't think will get dropped. I think Jota's going to play no matter what. I just think that with they two up front, it just gives you so much going forward. Even if it means they've got to change formation and play Jota and Kyogo behind Giakoumakis, that can happen. Do you know what I mean? So, but I think you'll play they two. I think Maeda's got to adapt to the bench. That's my team. For what Ange will pick, I think it's different. That's just what I would go with. I would play Jota and Giakoumakis and Kyogo.
You're getting sacked in the morning.
Honestly, I just think that as much as Kyogo might not be 100% fit, I'd rather have 60 minutes of Kyogo at the full pelt, and then you've got Maeda to come on for the last half an hour and just run them ragged. I'm talking here to a tactical point of view for the full game, not just who I want to play. I think if I was to say right away who was going to play and no think of the game going forward, tactically, I think you'd be play Maeda, Kyogo and Jota. I think Giakoumakis will be on the bench. But for me, going forward tactically, I think you'll play Maeda on the bench and I think we'll play Giakoumakis, Kyogo and Jota. Maybe after 60 minutes, you'll take Kyogo off and put Maeda on. That's just what I think. I think you'll change it a bit because I think Rangers are going to expect either one of them to play. I don't think they'll expect two to play. Again, I could be talking blowing at my arse here, but I've been sitting thinking for a few days now what I would do, and I would play two of them up front. And I know it's a curveball to that Maeda, but I'm just thinking for later on in the game, if you're struggling for a goal, he'll run them ragged. What do you think, JP?
It's a tough one to follow, Mourinho.
Mate, listen, I've got to have my side somewhere. I need to have my side somewhere.
I think we need to get your arse out to the Dakota right now, my man.
And who are you putting them on to tell listeners?
Aye. I'm not here to talk to you, honest. I'm just here for French toast.
Is it Kyogo or Giakoumakis or both? And fucking tell me how up.
Tell us it now, because the boys are like I'm waffling a load of nonsense here.
Get me out.
Gio have his wee lunch box with him anyway.
I personally, my heart and goals, Ralston, Carter Vickers, Starfelt, Taylor, McGregor, Hatate, O'Reilly. I think it's going to be Maeda, Jota, and I think he's going to play Kyogo. I think the wee man's ready to go, and I think he said that I watched his interview, obviously with subtitles and stuff during the week. He said it's a fixture he's not been happy with this season, and he's not been able to get his bit in him. And I think he's chomping at a bit to get a proper go at him, to try and put his mark on that fixture. So I just personally think, and then just listening to Ange talking about can you play the two of them? I can play the two of them, fine. All the mind games are all there, but if you're asking me to know what I think Ange is going to do, I think Ange is going to play Kyogo, and that's what I would do as well. Because I think the wee man's ready. I think and Ange has brought him here for Japan, so he's sort of Ange's, I don't like to say blue-eyed boy, but he's seen the two of them at the cup final. And they've obviously got a special relationship as well. And I just can't get it out of my head.
I think Kyogo is somewhat in the way Larson, that if he's fully fit, he plays as a golden boy.
If you're asking me, the two of them are fully fit. I said it on the chat yesterday. My opinion, if they two are fully fit, the best player at the two of them is Kyogo. The big man's not a patch on it, the wee man can do, technical wise. And Kyogo gives you loads more. Giakoumakis is that focal point, he's sturdy, he gets in about it, he's rough and tough. He can score goals, fine. Kyogo gives you the all-round performance, the all-round game. He could dribble at his feet, he can press high, he can chase people, he can get in about it, he draws fouls and all the wee man, he gets his cell, he puts his body in, so does Maeda. They put their body in places where a lot of players will just not want to go to. And they'll take the bump, they'll take the knock, they'll take as much as it's going to be sore or there might not be you'd be looking at the two of them going, there's not a pinch on the two of them, but believe you me, mate, they can press, and when they press, they let the player feel them. They don't just stop 2-3 yards away from them and go, you thought I was going there. Maeda and Kyogo are straight through you. And when they press, they let you feel them. And that's what's so good about them. But not just that, Kyogo's finishing ability and calmness on the ball is just night and day for anything we've got in the team. I know it's probably people are going to go, Giakoumakis has been different class. Aye, has. I'm not down in Giakoumakis. The reality of it all is Kyogo's better. He's a better all-round player.
He's a better.
Fit and ready to go. Kyogo's a better player in my opinion. So therefore, that's how I think Kyogo will start the game tomorrow.
He's the best striker in Scotland. Let's be fair. He is.
Yes,
he is.
Well, he is. And Giakoumakis, don't get me wrong, he gives you a different side of the game. Giakoumakis he's going to be excellent when we go away from home in Europe next season. Draw fouls, get us up the park. We might be under pressure, so he's the one to put his body in and get a foul. And he knows where the goal is. He works his socks off for the team. I get what you were saying, guys, about his performance at Ibrox the last game. See the 2 games, we didn't have Kyogo. But we didn't have that option to play Kyogo. So he had to work his socks off and he sort of hit, otherwise, see if he didn't, he'd have found himself very quickly back out the team. Because he needs to give, to play on the handball formation, as we like to call it, you need to have legs, you need to have that ability to run off the ball. You're not always going to have the ball. I mean, you don't, you're asked to get it back within seconds, as it looks. 2-3 seconds and Celtic are hounding you and tapping you. And if they're not, that's when you know they're not at it, like we saw in the semi-final.
Yep.
Teams are getting the room to play a couple of times and we weren't getting close to them. That'll not happen tomorrow. Tomorrow it'll be up and out the traps early doors, and I think we'll just get after them. But I think he's going to go with Maeda, Kyogo and Jota for the sheer fact that they want to kill them early with pace. And not just pace, but the technical ability. I think they two show that as well, Maeda and Kyogo. They can link up really well. The wee passage I played at Ross County where it was just one touch for it. It was like 3 or 4 passes between them. And Kyogo was unlucky with the one. He just puts too much on it and goes out of bar. Again, he could have scored about 4 goals on Sunday. If it wasn't just for Ross Laidlaw having a good game. So I do think Kyogo will start though, Ryan. And I think he's ready to go.
The only reason, Jason, that I've said with Giakoumakis and Kyogo that could find a big club ball, and we're saying either one, but see if you've got 2 of them, I don't play 2 of them. You've got 2 quality players. I know Maeda's done superb since he's come in, right? But I just think that Bob to Giakoumakis, knock on Kyogo, that's, if you've got Kyogo there, that's, I know Maeda's can do that as well, but the class of Kyogo, as JP says, ball up the top, knock in, Kyogo's he's through and go. It's just, people might think, you're Ryan, you make that out so simple. But see, football's a simple game. See the matter, I've not played football in about fucking 5 years, right? Because of injury, etc.
Look at it the other way, Ryan, as well. O'Reilly, defence, split and pass, he's through, and he's through and goal. So, half the shoulder. So,
but what about if he does play Beaton? That brings McGregor up, and that gives you another option for going forward.
See, honestly, we could sit.
We've not even spoken about David Turnbull.
I know, that's what I'm saying. You can sit here, mate. I'm a big fan of Turnbull. I've said it to JP. I think Turnbull, if Turnbull's fully fit, I think he should be playing. I think the guy's brilliant. I think he's brilliant. I think he's going to be. I think when they first signed, I think I said to JP, he's going to be a 5, 10, 15 million pound player. The guy's phenomenal, and I think he's probably really happy that he's went to Celtic, because Celtic has basically saved his career.
Yeah,
obviously what happened.
All right, just for all the listeners while we're talking here, it's okay. The fact that Jason mentioned that we've not spoke about David Turnbull, we're actually on 11 o'clock tonight, so don't worry, we'll get to David Turnbull.
But I think Martin is obviously back for picks itself. I think he's going to play Beaton, and I think he's going to go with Giakoumakis up front. With Maeda and Jota, and then I think he brings on Kyogo.
But you see the thing as well, obviously.
Just because I think he wants to prove a point that he can outmuscle them.
But see the thing as well, right? Abada's fully fit, right? And I think Abada's his goals, the way he's been playing, he deserves to play, right? But see,
but I know after last week, man.
And I thought, see the game at Ibrox and Abada came on. I still think Abada's, for what he's done, he's been phenomenal for me since he threw in the deep end and he's been superb. But I still think he's raw as fuck. He's finishing's raw as fuck. He's not a finisher. You can see that he's hitting balls in the bar and he's a winger.
See the way Abada plays, but Ryan, sorry to interrupt, right? He's been taught that for grassroots. He's been taught that for play like that, because it's just, I mean, that, but the 3-0 game, man, it was just.
He's got that killer instinct, isn't he? He just goes for the jugular all the time. He's sort of second man into the box all the time. He done it again. Of course, that's bred into you very early.
Was it not the Dundee United game where we won 1-0 down to 10 men? Again, he was first to that one in the 90th minute. There's been a lot of goals that he scored this year.
That was a great pick out, and all with Jota. We'll just talk about Jota's delivery there.
Jota's delivery last week for Kyogo Cedar was unbelievable, by the way. Yeah. Doesn't get spoken about enough.
That was some spring as well to get up, didn't it?
And we spoke about it in the chat. See the way Kyogo hung for that header, by the way. As soon as Jota crossed that, that's a goal. Yeah. Wasn't even in the letters, that's a goal.
It's very hard for me anyway. It's hard to leave anybody. And the fact that we've even mentioned Abada yet, it just shows you the quality we've got. But obviously, JP, your predictions on the game itself.
I was in two minds of what I was going to say there, but I'm going to try and be a bit more diplomatic, to be honest. I think, to be fair, I think they're going to do similar to what we've done to them in February. I think we're going to go and try and take the game away from early, and I think they're going to try and steamroll right at the top of them if we can, and just outplay them. In my opinion, we take the game away from them and try and get a couple of goals before half time, and we're in the league. Then for me, it's party over. You can get the cigars and the flip flops and the. But what I'm going with as well, guys, I think Parkhead is going to be very decorative tomorrow. So don't be surprised if you see Celtic Park with a lot of different types of colours there tomorrow, which is going to be interesting to see as well. And I think it'll be quite funny.
There's maybe a few hats with cock singing down it and all that.
Yeah, I think so. And there's a couple of kangaroos going to be jumping about. And honestly, lads, I hope they just decorate. I said it before we come on here. They just decorate the full stadium and cinch, man. Just cinch the lot of it, man. Cinch it right up, man. See Jimmy Belgian about the tape,
I'm agreeing with you, JP. I think that I think Ange will try and get done the first half. For me, that's the way he works. He wants the players to work to their maximum. I'm going to say 3-0 again. I just think that with the fans, I believe that when we go to Ibrox and there's no fans, we don't react to it. It doesn't affect us, but I think it affects him. We see it at Celtic Park. Obviously, the lights, Jason, JP's under the lights, a midnight game. It is intimidating. People can't say it's no, because bigger players than your Ryan Jacks have said it. So it just shows you that as a Calden, and I think it will be. I think it's going to be one. I think JP sees as I walk in the stadium, and I get that feeling that I did against him at the final game. Then I think, for me, I walked in that, and I just felt there was something in the air that night. I just felt we're going to fucking do it, mate. And I think if I'm going to walk up to the stadium, get that same feeling, I think it's going to be the same. I'm like you, JP.
You did, like I said, we were on with Kelvin last week, and I told him there's only twice I've ever walked into Celtic Park and felt that. It was the night, obviously, we beat Barcelona when he played, and then obviously that, because it was our 125th year anniversary of the club and stuff, and it just felt a dead special atmosphere that night. And obviously we witnessed something really nice on the pitch, and then obviously again in February when we beat them 3-0. You just felt an energy as soon as you walked into the stadium that there was just something special ready to happen right in front of you, and it did. So I get where you're coming from, because I felt that as well, and it brought a really nice feeling. It never left. It's actually probably still with me, to be honest. Because every time you talk about it, it just brings back that distinctive memory in your head.
I've not forgot about that game yet. The atmosphere and the performance. I think, Jason, I think if we play to even 80% of that, I think that Rangers are in for a hard time. But again, as much as I don't want to respect them, you've got to respect their quality. They're going to come and try and take the game. I think at some point they might have 5 minutes, a few chances. They'll have a shot of the game. Every game, any football game, one team normally has a bit of the game. They will have a chance, and they'll need to take it, in my opinion, Jason. I don't think if they don't take it, I think that's it. I think they'll get one sniff. I think they had one sniff at Celtic Park, and that was a ball through to our field, and I think Ryan Jacks hit the bar. That was it. And I can only see them maybe only get this 1 or 2 chances, and I think they'll need to take it, Jason, because I think we're going to have a lot of the ball, a lot of possession, and I think we're going to win with a few goals. I can only... Again, this isn't before the semi-final, Jason. Some fans are a wee bit cocky. We're going to do this and do that. I was more confident than I was cocky. But now I'm a wee bit... I'm no cocky, but I'm leaning towards... I can only see one winner now. I really can. If we turn up to their game, mate, I don't know what your prediction is, but if we turn up to their game and they turn up to their game, for me, there's only one winner, and that's a very good victory for Celtic.
I think I think I'm the same as you guys. I think we'll just come out and get a bit of them. I think we'll win 2-0. I think we'll be 2. But I just think that if we turn up, which I think we will, because I don't think Andrew will have it drummed into them of what happened the last time. And I think that they'll just go out and they'll go for jugular. I feel different about tomorrow. Whereas with the cup, with the semi-final, I had a feeling that they were how you get that feeling that they might do us today. I had that feeling with the semi-final. But with this tomorrow, I can't see it going any other way. I think that defeat in the semi-final, he was like, "Oh, here, wait a minute." Do you know what I mean? And I just think I just think we'll go out and we'll just steam. I just think I think it'll be very similar to the game in February. It'll be all us first half, and then we'll take our foot off the second half, and it'll just be a fucking party, man.
I don't know about yours, but I feel as if this is going to sound bizarre, but I feel this way because I've got a feeling that Ange is eliminated. I think the pressure's off us tomorrow. Mm-hmm. I really do. I know this is going to sound crazy, and a lot of listeners are going to go, "What the hell is he saying?" But I really do think the pressure's off us tomorrow, and I think it's been taken away with Ange and the coaching staff to allow the team to go and express themselves. Does that make sense?
No, I get it.
And I think that's what you're going to see tomorrow.
You can sense as well, JP, for his press conferences, he's relaxed. Similar to Rodgers, he's relaxed, he's calm, he just answers the questions, and there's no big words like Neil Lennon says. Neil Lennon used to get you nervous whenever you talked, especially last year, before games, right? But under Ange, Jason, you just don't feel any nerves with this guy. The guy's cool as fuck. He answers the questions so good, and even that bit about fucking... Here, mate, there's a big trophy down there if you want to go and see it. That's phenomenal.
Well, that hit a few nails.
That
was a wee bit of how dare they say that? Do you know what I mean?
Lennon's there in Cyprus and he's still making me nervous.
I
watched his interview when PLZ soccer, man, I'm going like, oh no, here we go.
Somebody might just sit him down and be like, shut up, Neil.
It's finished. It's finished.
Well, I mean, I don't mean stop it. Right? I understand. Look, I can understand where he's coming from because he must feel aggrieved that a lot of his mates who shared a dressing room with me for a long time.
But at the end of the day, he
probably feels that they turned against him very quickly. And I think that Martin O'Neill, actually, I saw a thing the other day, I don't know if you've seen it, guys, with Martin O'Neill. He came out and sort of backed him up a bit and was saying that he agreed with Neil and he thinks that, you know, people were too quick to judge and you forget everything he done at the club and blah, blah, blah. And okay, I get all that, but to just point fingers and blame everybody else, so standing in a glass house and throwing stains at everybody else, you've got to accept your wrongdoing as well as everybody else's.
He should take accountability for
well, that's it as well. He's the head of the table, Jason. You know what I mean? He's the head honcho of the table. So everything's going to lie with him. Every wee decision that's made, every sort of nook and cranny that's no papered over properly, everything drops at his door.
And nobody's ever turned around and we've no poo-pooed what he done. We all know what he done.
No.
He needs to, but for me, he'll always be known as the guy that fucked them. No, and that's it.
I've always said, Jason, I do believe JP. Sorry to cut you in there. I've said it on previous podcasts. I even said it to Kelvin. I think I did say to Kelvin. I believe that something will come out eventually, Jason, because
100%.
Obviously, Neil Lenny's been told he can't say things. These things happen in football. You say something you can't say for so long, etc. I do believe that something will come out eventually. We all know about the COVID cases Rangers were hiding. We all know stuff happened. But the end of the day is, I know we can blame the manager, but for me, the squad just didn't perform. But for every single player not to perform, there's a big fucking problem behind the scenes. You can count, see a football game now yourself, boys. You've all played football in teams and fives, etc. See when one guy at your 5 team doesn't play well, we can accept it. But see in an 11-a-side part when 4 or 5 don't play well, something's not right. It's a pure after, right? But when it continuously happens, something behind the scenes is not right. How can these players not get up for a game of football, playing with Celtic? That's where you know something's not right.
I firmly believe the ball and goalie scenario didn't help, and I think he had some pals with a French connection and like Jeremy Frimpong, and then I think the Scottish lads like McGregor and Bruni and Brian Christian. I might be totally having here, right? But that's just my small take on it. I think something happened after that happened in the club or in that dressing room, and it caused mayhem. And then after that, they just never really recuperated for that. And guys like Beaton and Rogic and Forrest, and they all started to side with like say Bruni, and because they'd all been together for years. And then Ollie and Cham and Eddie and Bolingoli and Jeremy Frimpong, in fact, they're all photographed together in Dubai when we were on a short break. I can't even remember when it was, but I remember seeing a photo of them all. So you could tell they were all pals. And then you had Big Julian and Big Aya, they probably looked like they were trying to be neutral and be Pally were there and Pally were there. And somehow, in my opinion, that's what caused the back.
I think it just became very, very toxic very quickly. And before Lennon knew what had happened, it was out of control.
Yeah.
And the COVID and all that, you know what I mean? And I think the board used that to their advantage and were just like, well, the fans aren't here, so they can't really say anything about it.
Yeah.
If the fans were in, that wouldn't have lasted as long
well,
as
I said that, and it would have lasted two. You'd have lucky if it had lasted a game, and then if it happened the next game, we'd have been right on top of them. Do you know what I mean?
He wouldn't have got as long as he did.
No. See when you look back next season, Jason, I really think he should have been gone after Fenwick Barros turned us at Celtic Park. That's to been it. It's to been like, we can't go into the season like this, so thanks for all your effort, but we need to move on and we need to go. And then if that wasn't the game that done it, it should have been when they beat us 2-0 at Celtic Park. We never even registered a shot and goal the whole day.
When he came out and said there's a few players here that are wanting away, I was like that, oh, here we go, bang, bang, something's not quite right in there. And then, you know. But
remember back to the start, Jason, as well, there was noise coming out the doors of Indies a lot because of what was going on with Griffiths and all. So he was left here. They went on a pre-season tour. It just never...
Even
I started it, and then the ball and goalie hang, and you're just like, oh, come on, man.
Obviously, a few of the guys, ball and goalie, etc. I think they'll obviously be awareness in the summer.
We were shut down for 3 weeks, remember that, man? We missed 2 games because of him.
I think Barkas, Ayeti, all the guys, I think they will be away in the summer. Like Anne says, that process is already starting. Obviously, compared to that now, to this, we're all happy again.
Oh, no, definitely.
We're hopefully going to be hopefully, probably if we stay unbeaten tomorrow, for me, I'll be celebrating because we're not going to lose fucking 3 games. So for me, if you stay unbeaten tomorrow, the league's basically won. Yep. You basically get your half a ribbon when you're next. So again, boys, everything we've chatted about today, you could chat for another 2 hours because there's so much involved with Celtic, especially this game tomorrow. Positional wise, tactics wise, who's he going to play, what's going to happen after it, before it. There's so much we can speak about, but again, nobody will actually listen to 3 hours because their coffee's going to get cold and their alcohol's going to get fucking done flat. So, but again, guys, Jason, JP, it's been a brilliant chat again, lads. I think for anybody listening, I'd like to think it's been a good podcast, a Saturday Night Fever, but the boys, hopefully, we're celebrating in a Sunday night sesh. We have 3 points and hopefully just a bit of lead title in the bag. But again, guys, hail, and take care.
Cheers, Ryan. Cheers, Jess.